Welcome to Doing It My Way by Beata Matras, a podcast about project and product management, communication, brand, and IT. All these topics will definitely improve and have a positive impact on your career. So join me today, subscribe, and expect a new episode every week. Thank you. Welcome to today's episode, where I'm excited to have Remigiusz Bondarowicz, Senior Product Manager and Product Management Advisor with a fascinating career spanning over 2 decades in the tech industry. From developing user-centric products like the Opera browser to leading subscription-based platforms promoting sustainable consumption, Remigiusz has been at the forefront of technological innovation. And today, we'll dive into the importance of having a clear mission and vision in product management, how technology like Dolby Atmos is redefining audio experiences in cars, and Remigiusz's personal journey from coding to strategic product development. Welcome, Remigiusz. It's great to have you here.
Welcome, Beata. Thank you for having me here. Actually, it's been just a couple of weeks since we've been talking for the first time, and since then I started following your podcast, and I must say they are pretty insightful and fun to watch. So thank you for inviting me for one episode.
Thank you, Remigiusz. Thank you for that compliment. I'm really happy that I actually met you in Wrocław, because that was on one of the product peaks. And I even made a post on LinkedIn about that, and that because I felt like there will be like a continuation of this story, that it wasn't just a one event and that's all. I knew that I've met inspiring people and I want to show them to the bigger audience, show that, sometimes during an unexpected event, just, it was like a kind of a thought in my mind that told me, like, you go to Wrocław, it's like not far away, you take the train and just go there, and and you will see, maybe you'll meet someone interesting. And I've indeed met very interesting people, and I'm really glad to have you here today with me. So we can record this. So we can record the episode about topics that are very close to my heart. So mission and vision in product management. And I would like you to tell me from your experience how the mission and vision in product management, how it's like defining our approach, or how it's defining the product development, how it impacts that. But before we dive into that topic, could you start by sharing what drew you to the tech industry and specifically into product management? What's your story, Remigiusz?
Well, okay, I'll try to be short, but I think we are somehow touching the ancient history, because when I was very young, imagine the computers were really a luxury. I actually personally I didn't have a computer until I went to the high school. So instead, what I was doing, I often was going to the gaming shops and spending hours there, looking on the different, trailers of the games, demos of the games, kind of dreaming about how it would be to play it. I did have a couple of friends who had the very old-fashioned consoles, like Nintendo, so I had a chance to play some games. But I remember one time my dad spotted me staring on this shelf with the bright CDs with the gaming titles, and he told me that you actually somewhere in the future you could be the guy who will be creating those games, and that was interesting because that was a time that I didn't know what it really means to create a game or whatsoever, but it excited me enough then that I basically chose to go this path. And long story short, I applied to the high school with a computer science profile. Then I went to the Technical University at Opole. And in the last year of my studies, Siemens Mobile Company reached out to me, and they offered me a job as a software developer. So this wasn't necessarily creating games, developing the games, but this was close enough to get me inspired. And what is interesting at that time, the concept of the product management wasn't necessarily very existent, right? I mean, if you think about Poland as a nation, we were very great engineers, great project managers, delivery managers, but the whole product and business, all of that was really happening in the headquarters of the company somewhere in the West. So my first experience actually with the product management happened when I joined Opera Software. And at the time, the product team was based in Norway, in Oslo. And I was lucky enough that I was able to work side by side with one of the great product managers at that time at Opera. And I was able to shadow him. So through working with him next to him, I was able to more or less understand what this role is about. And what really convinced me to pursue this path was the fact that I was able to work very closely with the customers, trying to understand their problems and their needs. And then also the fact that I will be one of the guys who are actually directly influencing what the product we are building to solve the problems of the customers. So I think that's really what got me into the product management after all.
And that's interesting. It started with the game and it started with one sentence, or yeah, that you can be a person who can develop the games like that. Yeah, you don't have to only play, you can develop something, you can go like, and check the different perspective. Yeah. So it is, I think, like that. Like transitioning from a developer to product manager involves a significant shift, especially in mindset. So, what motivated this change, and what were some of the challenges and learnings along the way?
So first of all, one need to understand my road to product management wasn't actually that straightforward. In between being a software developer, I think after a couple of years, my manager promoted me to the role of project manager, and I think that was mainly because he recognized that I have a somewhat a structured approach to solving problems, and also I was able to unite people to work together in solving these problems. So I think that this is what would convince him to promote me to the project manager. But again, it took a couple of years when I moved to Opera, and I was able to work with this product manager. We made me realize that being really on the forefront of creating the product, learning about the customer problems, and through a number of product discovery methods like user interviews, I was able to sink in to the concept and the role of the product manager, and this got me very excited. Now you're asking about the challenges and the learnings. I think at the very beginning for me, one of the bigger challenge was that at these times it was actually very difficult to get any meaningful resources about the product management. Right, there wasn't necessarily many books, and especially here in Poland, it was very difficult to get them. I think the notion of social media, LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn didn't exist at that time. So really, for me, the way to learn about product management and going and figure out how to create a successful product was a bit of trial and failure story. Luckily, I made not so many mistakes, although there were some production failures which ended up disappointing our customers. So I think the first learning or the first challenge for me was really how to get access to the information, to grow your skills, to learn some methods, how you create product, how you validate your assumptions, and how you manage the product. So that was one thing. The other learning along the way was something that stays with me till today, which is a power of something that I call a swarm intelligence. So let me explain that to you. In product management, it's very common, or it's very known, a concept of the product trio, right? So there is this group of consisting of product manager, engineering lead, and user experience designer. Well, this change depending on the company and the industry where for which the product is created, but usually this is the trio. And these people working very closely together in formulating the hypothesis about the customer needs. They are working together to figure out what are the compelling product initiatives that can address the customer needs. And then eventually they are formulating product roadmap and plans for the product increments. What I've learned and what I started practicing is that in the moment, if you go beyond the product trio and you will engage in the product discovery process, you engage a wider group of the people within the company. So think about people from business, people from marketing, people from customer support, sales team, and so on. You are much more expanding the size of the group from which you can create a compelling ideas on how to solve the problems of the customer. And in the long term, this creates better results. What is also interesting about that is that by having this kind of swarm intelligence approach to building a product, doing the product discovery, somehow a side effect is that you're creating much more engaged organization, right? It's because now many people in the organization have this perception that they are contributing to the success of the product, right? They are engaged, they are motivated. So this creates this additional value that you're building a product organization or the organization that with everyone's intelligence, everyone's contribution, you're creating a product that then you're exposing to your customers.
Wow. Okay, that's like a aha moment for me, because usually, yeah, we tend to like think about this trio. Yeah, we have, we're like the three warriors that are united together, and we are going to run the world. We don't need anyone else. But actually, there's more knowledge. There's definitely more knowledge if you just take
Yes.
if you just take a step and go beyond like the trio, like the rules. I think that we are taught by product management gurus sometimes. Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is much more knowledge. This is more different knowledge or different angle to the insight of the customer, right? Because you get people who are working hand in hand as a customer support in the field. They are capturing a lot of important information that you, as a product manager or engineering lead or UX guy, you're not exposed to that. And obviously, you can still create a sense that the product trio is capturing all this information. I mean, at the end, this is the group that eventually formulate the roadmap. But the exercise of capturing and gathering ideas, initiatives that can turn into the product features, if you expand it to the wider group, you're exposing yourself to much more, more inspiring ideas, or it's the bigger domain size from which you can go and pick up and then go and validate those ideas.
Okay, Remigiusz. So what you said, I think it's bringing us to the topic of mission and vision. So how have you seen the importance of clear mission and vision in your extensive career?
I think I would start that for the organization to create and sustain a successful product, having a well-defined and communicated mission, vision, and actually strategy is really a must. And what I mean by that is that if you look on what these terms really means, on a very high level, they are answering three fundamental questions for the organization and the product organization. So mission answer the question of what is the purpose of the company? Why do we exist as a company, right? Vision answer the other fundamental question. And this question is, what is the desired future that we aim to unlock in the particular horizon? Many companies talk about vision for the next 5-10 years, but it really depends on the company. And the last one, strategy, answer the question of what is a coordinated approach that will lead us to achieve the vision that we have defined. So now if you have an organization that has a very clear answers to those questions, this organization creates important attributes or important elements in creating a successful product. It is a focus and a direction for the product teams. If the company has a well-defined mission, an inspiring mission, it creates a motivation and engagement with an organization for the people to go and execute on the common goal, on the common purpose. And then if you have well-defined strategy, and when the well-defined strategy includes in areas where team as a product team or in the wider organization, it defines the aspects of where the company and the product team will invest resources and the time, and equally as where it won't invest their time and the resources. A good strategy defines these aspects, and this helps again create a focus and actually create an autonomy for the product teams. And by product teams, I mean product engineering, user experience, and so on. And they can operate within these boundaries by generating and creating ideas how you can create a solutions for the customer problems or creating opportunities that are really in the boundaries of the strategy that to really achieve the vision and satisfy the purpose or the reason why the company exists.
Yeah, so it sounds, I mean, let me sum up what I noted because yeah, I have a kind of from my project management career, I have this experience or just a habit right now to making notes of important things. So the mission, what is the purpose of the company? Why do we exist? The vision, what is the desired future that we want to unlock? And the strategy is what is the coordinated approach that we want to take to make it possible? So it's basically about our why, our what in the future. So our why in the past or our why in a like right now in that moment, our what in the future, what we want to create, and the strategy how we are going to make it happen. Yeah. So that's basically, I think, the summary of those three. That can be used in a daily life, I think. I mean, I'm not sure if you have like your private mission, vision, and strategy, but that's very helpful to make our life a meaningful and like more fulfilled, I would say. Like if you have a kind of your why, your private personal why, you don't have to share it with everyone, it's just yours. Yeah, but if you have that, and if you have the vision, and then you just develop the strategy of how you want to get there to your perfect vision of life. And of course, life is unpredictable, the same as in the companies. The product development can be unpredictable, but it's just nice to have where you're heading, what's there, what you're aiming for, and why you're doing that. That's just making things, I think, easier or just more pleasant, I would say. And keeps the motivational self-discipline in the right place.
Let me just say, I think you were right in saying that the things will change, and it is as in the private life and in the cycle or in the life of the product and the organization. But as said, if you have a well-defined vision and a strategy, kind of high-level plan or high-level bets, by doing so, you're getting yourself closer and closer every day to your ideal view of the future. I think this is where exactly good strategy, vision, and mission plays a role.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm a huge fan of mission and vision to the point that I make people feel angry at me when I start like talking about it all the time. But it's like really important for me to understand that and to yeah, it's just very important to me. So I'm talking about that. Well, what I can do. If we talk about mission, vision, and strategy, I think the next point could be actually the kind of product discovery process. How do you approach this product discovery process, and what role do customer insights play in defining the product strategy?
Right. I think this is a very interesting question. So let me put it this way. Whenever I'm thinking about building a product increment, right, building any feature or initiative, I think we are inevitably betting that with a hope that we will create a user value with that, and this will be beneficial for the business. And in general, there are four main risks that basically brings a condition to the odds of the chances for you to succeed with this product increment. And those risks are value, its usability, its feasibility, and the viability. So let's go very quickly through it. So value, I mean, you need to ask yourself a question, will the customers, or you need to find an answer to the question, will the customers demand this feature? Will they be looking for this feature or this product increment? Usability, will people be able to understand your product or your initiative? Will they be able to very easily use it? You have then feasibility. So we are talking about, do we have resources? Do we have a technology? Do we have a means to actually create this product increment or this initiative? And finally, it's the viability. So we are talking about, can we create business out of it? Can we create it in a way that we can scale it? And well, are there any other aspects, like, is this legal? I mean, is this according to the policies and the regulations that we need to operate with? So those are those four risks that kind of stand in the way for you to succeed with your product idea, your product increment, or next version of the product that you're creating. And my way for approaching product discovery is really to minimize the chances, to minimize those risks. So when I aim to release the product, I have enough confidence that it will be able to support, it will be able to create this value that we are looking for the customers, and also create a business. So if you think about product discovery in that sense, there are basically two main elements that you will need to focus. One is really capturing ideas or generating ideas, right? And then the other element is how you will go about validating these ideas, again, in order to gain your confidence and reduce the risks of failure of the addressing the customer needs and bringing the value to the customer. And the way how maybe I will speak from the perspective how we do it at Dolby. The capturing part, generating ideas part, and capturing part has a specific way how we go about it. So I was telling you before about this swarm intelligence, and this is where it really kicks off. So what we are doing a periodically quite extensive workshops where we are inviting representatives from the different groups, from business, product, engineering, customer support, marketing, salespeople, basically anyone who can bring interesting insights about what we could create, or those people who are in the forefront talking with our customers, talking with the industry. Those people are participating in those workshops. In those workshops, we build a space where people can share, so we can capture all these ideas. And then we use a different methods to, for the generating ideas, for capturing these ideas, and then going through the process of, let's say, first evaluation of the potential impact of the idea, its urgency, and so on, right? So this is actually an extensive part of the product discovery process where we are capturing ideas in this swarm intelligence type of manner. When we have a set of these ideas, then there is a question: how do we go and validate them? And on a very high level, not 100% exactly, but we do follow a framework that I've learned some time ago. It's called AFTER. And this is the acronym of basically 5 stages. It's A for analysis, F for fact finding, T for testing, E for experiments, and R for release, after. I learned about this framework from ex Google product manager Itamar Gilad, very interesting personality. And we start using this, or we have been using this framework in some other way at Dolby, but I think we are much more focused on following this scheme in the process of the validation of the ideas. So what it really means is that every of these steps has a different types of validation methods that you can engage to basically validate the expected impact of the idea and whether this addresses the needs of the customer. So for example, in the analysis phase, what we are doing is we are trying to see whether a particular idea is actually aligning with our product strategy and the vision, right? So this is actually the first element where we are filtering the idea that might be interesting, but they are not really in line with our strategy and our vision, and then we are resigning from them, right? The other aspects that we do in the analysis for the ideas that has highest potential, we do assumption mapping. I think this is a pretty common method, and basically idea behind this is that you're throwing an assumption about this particular initiative idea, and your focus should be on validating the assumptions about the aspects that are the most critical for the success and the most uncertain, right? So you're kind of also filtering out the elements on which you will need to focus to validate your assumptions and be sure that you're reducing the risks that I was talking at the very beginning. So this is the analysis part. The fact-finding part is really, well, you need to understand your market, right? So we have different means how to do it. We have a paid report about the automotive industry. We are actually engaged with the car OEMs and the whole supply chain, capturing some of the insights from them, which gives us a sense whether what we are thinking about, could that be actually something that would be compelling to our customers or to the automotive industry. So we can bet on that. And there are some other aspects that you can do as part of the fact findings. I mean, data analytics and so on. So this is within this group. The next step is something that is called test, and there are multiple ways how you can test your ideas. One thing that we often do is we turn into so-called proof of concepts. So when we have a particular, let's say, feature, an increment that we want to validate, we are creating with our engineering team a simplified version of the solution. And once we have it, so it's not ideal, right? It has wires. Let's put it this way, but we are able to expose it to a wider group, maybe sometimes even exposing that to the early customers, and we are having a chance to capture their feedback about that. So this helps us also to before you launch something, it's something you can actually test in the wider group to figure out whether there is a demand for this, and does this really solve the problem of the customer, or the necessary some adjustments to make this idea actually viable, right? The E, experiments. This is where we are getting into the MVPs, alphas and betas. This is usually, and this depending on the industry. In the automotive industry, the way we usually work with the so-called early adopters. So we have a one particular partner that we engage with, that we see the interest for this particular feature for them, and we work together, providing them with the early versions of the product, so we can together figure out whether this really satisfies their needs, adjust it further, and so on. And often it is that we are having the first release as a limited availability release, right? So we would have one customer that goes with our feature to the market, and based on this information, we can then decide whether this is a feature with the maturity and potential that we should expose it to the full spectrum. And the last one, release. So yes, I said releasing a limited availability version, so for a limited number of the partners. But then we are going through a kind of reviewing cycle. So after release of our feature, after a couple of months, we are getting back and we are basically reviewing what was the real impact of this feature on our KPIs, and how this how this resonated with the customers.
I never heard about this after technique, but it's really broad and it's really well thought, I would say. I mean, and I like structures, so it's kind of a nice structure of actually validating whether the thing that we created is actually going to work, or we think about.
Two more comments on that, because it might sound like this is pretty waterfall style approach, and in reality it's not, right? You need to take into account that we are basically validating multiple ideas at the same time. So every idea goes through that process, through the after framework, and at the end it is for the product team to decide how much of the testing you want to do, to what is the level of the confidence you need to have to actually launch the product, right? So in some of the cases, if we see a significant potential in the very early stages of this validation process, we have enough confidence to go and release the product, right? But if you're having an idea that is, for example, pretty complicated, but it yields a potential, you may want to spend more time in this process, to go and test one more time through a different method to gain this confidence. So it's not really waterfall, it's multiple ideas going through the after framework to gain a confidence about these ideas, their potential impact. And whenever we are ready, we go and release that. And the second point is, since I said at the beginning, we do our idea gathering, generating of the ideas and the capturing on the periodical basis. We run these workshops. One need to understand that the product discovery is kind of a continuous process, right? It's not that you're generating ideas one time and then you go with these ideas for the next 3-4 years, right? it's a periodic process, continuous process where we are capturing new ideas that are coming by learning about the market. There are new trends coming in and so on. So we are capturing these ideas. And as part of the continuous process, we are validating some of these ideas to decide whether they're, impactful enough, so we want to bring them to the market.
That's really interesting. And yeah, I'm just like right now thinking like, how can I use it at my work? How can I use it? It's just, the kind of the bulbs are appearing again, and the dots are starting to connect. But I think it will take a while for me to digest it and finally use it. Thank you for sharing that, Remigiusz. And my follow-up question to that would be, because we talk a lot about the user centricity and the empathy, and that we are creating the products for the users. Obviously we are creating products for people, but how to like balance the demands of the market, the business growth, and the kind of user centricity?
Very interesting question. So I have two answers to that. One is that to me, user centricity and the business growth kind of go hands in hand, right? Because if you understand that by creating a user value, you're creating a potential for the business to earn money out of it. It seems like a logical pair that you're putting the user in the heart of how you think about your product and how do you implement your product. This becomes kind of a natural setup, right? By thinking about the user and thinking about what problems or what opportunities you can create for him, this opens up for you a potential to make business out of it. So that's one part, and then the other part, again, coming back to the product discovery, and there is another concept that is called evidence-based product development, which is really to the great extent similar to what I was describing as part of the product discovery process approach at Dolby. It's this notion of, by capturing the customer needs and ideas how you can address it, and by the fact how you're going through the process of validation whether the idea that you have innovated to solve the problem is actually solving the customer problem, right? By doing a different tests, experiments, you can get a sense of, does this resonate with the customer? Does this resonate with a segment of the customers that you're trying to address? And if you have those indications that yes, this resonates, I think this automatically translates that there is some money behind that you can create business out of it, right? So for me, the fundamental is, if you have a good approach and kind of continuous approach for product discovery, validation of the ideas, measuring their impact on the customer, but also on the business, I think you're having a structured process how to stay user-centric in your approach for product development, but the outcome of that will be a business for the company, the money for the company.
It is, although I'm just questioning one thing, because sometimes we create the user value, or maybe we think we create the user value, but we kind of forget about, selling that. Actually, like this, what's how to convince the user that product is actually bringing value. I mean, I'm wondering, for example, about Netflix or Spotify right now, and how they convinced us to actually stop using, for example, like different platforms for listening to music or buying CDs, and just like completely like changed our behavior. Was it? I mean, that are the examples of a perfect product or perfect user value delivery, But on the other hand, I think there is also like a good amount of marketing and like, sales in that process before, like to actually highlight this user value, to convince everyone that it's the solution that you need. It's the value that you need. It's the value that, I don't know, just my thoughts. But I'm like wondering about this kind of areas. Um, yeah, pretty often recently about I'm thinking a lot about that. User value is one kind of piece of product development, but the other is actually the marketing and sales. And yeah, without like connecting those, I think it will be difficult to think about the business.
Yeah, I think this is a relevant topic. But to me, the marketing is part of the let's say of the whole product, right? So there is a core product value proposition that is addressing an important, meaningful problems or creating opportunities for the customers, right? If you don't have good product itself, the core product, then the greatest marketing goes only as long as the money is poured into the marketing, right? So the product will not defend itself. But promoting and advertising the value of the product and what kind of problems it can solve to the customers, I think this is an irrelevant part of the whole creation of the business, right? And even as part of the product management and product development, you're not stopping with the product by releasing the feature. There is the go-to-market strategy, which involves marketing, it involves advertising, it involves reaching out to the, let's say, environments where your potential customers are in, and figuring out the way how you can present the product from the angle that actually attracts the customer. So I think this is a relevant part of the whole ecosystem within where the product exists, right? So I think you're touching on a very important aspect, but I think they are again working hand by hand. You have a product with a strong value proposition, and then you have a marketing around this product, so it can reach this segment of the people or the personas that you want to attract with your product in a compelling way, so they can build their awareness about the product itself and go try it out to fall in love in it. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's like going on a first date. Yeah, sometimes you like sell your best version of yourself, and yeah, highlight all the USPs, let's say. Yeah, but
Right.
it's like that. I think with the product. Yeah, and like with dating, you highlighted the USP, but if there is like not more like there is nothing more behind these USPs, or these USPs are just not completely true, I would say, then yeah, at some point the best marketing will end, and the product itself will also expose to be just the first impression. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. For me, the biggest analogy would be you can put as best as possible perfumes on you, but they will fade away in time. So your values, your attractiveness, the way how you behave and talk and engage with a person, this is at the end something that will convey them for the second date. If we are staying in the dating topic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's I like the metaphor. I really like metaphors. But coming back to the topic of product management and very like professional topics, what about the kind of, because you have a broad knowledge from what I'm hearing, it's just you've been through a lot, you worked in different companies, you developed different products, and obviously you saw the innovations, and right now you're even like working on the innovations or transformative technologies like Dolby Atmos. Can you explain how such innovations are changing user experiences, and what it means for the future.
The first thing I should explain, because maybe some of the people watching this episode might not be fully understanding what Dolby Atmos is. So in a very simple terms, Dolby Atmos is an audio technology that basically enables an immersive three-dimensional listening experience in different environments. I think many people have had a chance to watch the movie in the cinema with Dolby Atmos, with the surround multi-dimensional sounds. Some people might have a home audio entertainment devices at home, like soundbars or AVRs. And through the last couple of years, we brought in Dolby Atmos into the cars. The way how you can experience Dolby Atmos is by listening to music. You have Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, all these streaming services, and also some regional services provide content in Dolby Atmos. You can, as said, you can watch movies recorded in Dolby Atmos, and something new is that actually podcasts will be able to be recorded in Dolby Atmos, creating a very immersive, enveloping experience. But to explain the magic behind Dolby Atmos, I think everyone is got used to listen to music in stereo, right? So I mean, the sound goes from the left or it goes from the right. There is some center scene, audio scene created. Now with Dolby Atmos, what you're experiencing is actually the sound, the multitude of the sound that really envelopes you from different directions. It can be from the overhead and it can be from the side. And what it creates is that it creates a very intimate experience or intimate relationship with an artist who created a music in Dolby Atmos in the studio and their fans. What I enjoy hearing is that for people who had a chance to listen Dolby Atmos, especially in the cars, because this is my field of expertise, many people say that they feel like they are in the middle of the stage. It almost feels like you're standing around the band who is playing, and you're hearing all those different instruments and sounds coming from all over the place. And what is very exciting is that it opens up for the artist who wants to create a music, who wants to create their story or tell their story through the songs that they are recording. Now with the Dolby Atmos, they have a specific creation tools, which allows them to place different sounds, different objects in the location, particular locations. The objects can move in time and can change the attributes, can be sharp, can be blurry, and so on. But what it allows for the artist is to create a more rich and more, I would say, truthful story that they want to express through the sound when they are recording the song. So I don't want to sell it, but I wish you have a chance to.
You just did
listen.
to me.
I did? Okay. I'm promising that we are working to make Dolby Atmos basically present in all the cars in the automotive. And now answering a bit of your question, I think how Dolby technologies, how the innovation changes the user experience, I think somewhat, I believe I explained that. But how does this go for the future? So speaking particularly about the automotive industry, there are basically four main trends that are present these days, and they will be present for the next decades. And this is connected cars, autonomous cars, it's shared cars, and electric cars. So some of these trends are actually much more prevalent. I think we have quite a lot these days already cars with that are electric. The growth of the cars always connected is also growing. I think there is still a space for having really autonomous cars in the market, but this will happen. And if you think about the presence and the future of the automotive going that direction, especially if you think about autonomous driving, what it will make is that the drivers will have more time, more flexibility to focus on other stuff than driving, steering the wheel and driving the car, because the car will be doing that for himself. And those technologies like Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, think about gaming and so on, this will be the experiences that the car EMs will want to bring to the cars, because people will have, let's call it, more time to be entertained, because they will not need to focus on the driving itself. So this is where Dolby is betting on, and this is where we see already a significant momentum. If you had the chance to ride the newest Mercedes, you will be able to actually experience Dolby Atmos in these cars. And there are a number of other car OEMs in the process of integrating our technology and our product. But I'm probably not able to talk about that at this moment.
Yeah, totally understand that. But oh wow, that must be amazing experience to actually drive a car like that and being surrounded by music, by the sound, by like different dimensions of it, and just being able to like entertain and maybe like even stop for a moment, especially if we're talking about autonomous cars where you don't have to focus too much on the road. But if you do, it can be a little bit distracting, to be honest. But if you immerse yourself too much in that sound,
Yeah, you need to be conscious.
yeah, you need to be conscious. You need to be conscious, but I can almost feel like I'm just sitting in that car and enjoying the sound. So yeah, but coming back to reality, and coming back to the questions that I prepared for today. Actually, there is one last question, and we'll move to wrap up. So the last question is about mentoring and supporting startups and young professionals, because it's a part of your commitment to giving back. So could you share more about this passion and the impact?
Right. Yes. So I think it started somewhere like 2 years ago. I kind of came to the conclusion that myself, I was privileged to work with very wise individuals across different international companies. And I figured out that actually creating a successful products, the process of creating a product is very rewarding. And especially when you see that your customers are happy with this product, this is a very nice feeling. And I thought it would be great if I can share my learnings with people in need. Right? I was at that time, years ago, craving for someone who can, in an easy, simple way to explain me some of the frameworks, some of the methods, and generally what the product management is. So I decided to go for it. And for the last 2 years, I've been offering free of charge consulting and mentoring sessions to startups and the individuals. And so far, it's spanned from, I don't know, working with a company to even set up the product organization, how the teams should look, what should be the structure of the product teams, and the product organization in general, going through some of the product discovery methods and frameworks like the ones that I've been mentioning here, or even working with aspiring product managers where we basically kind of build a plan how to turn them from actually any field. I've been working with software developers, with QAs, and how to speed up their path to product management. So this is what I've been doing for the last 2 years, with a couple of very interesting examples, very rewarding to me. So I'm planning to continue doing that.
And that's brilliant. I think by being a person who is giving up to the community, you also learn a lot in the same time. And yeah, it's just we should do more of that. Sometimes I think we're just, scared that maybe we're not, like experienced enough, what we can like offer to the other person. But sometimes it's just, you know, sometimes it's good to remember that we've been in that point a few years back. Yeah, we started our careers, and just sometimes just one sentence of support, or one tool that someone like introduced us to, that was enough. That was completely enough, and we don't have to be an expert in everything. We can be just 5 years uh, more experienced than this person, or have a different background, for example, than the person we are mentoring.
Definitely.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just about maybe exchanging the views, exchanging the knowledge. So thank you for doing that, Remigiusz. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're invited to work with me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, yeah. So let's move to the closure. And if you reflect on your journey and the evolution of technology you went through, especially in product management, what advice would you give to aspiring product managers?
Does it have to be one?
No,
it's
it can
probably
be two,
plenty.
3, 5. Yeah, yeah. You can choose.
No.
Let's limit to 3.
Okay. All right. No, I could even close myself with one. And again, this is maybe something very subjective to the way how I went into the product management and the challenges that I have. But for me, the one advice that I would give is don't stop yourself on, or it's not to say don't bother reading books or the internet, but if you have a chance to work with a mentor, a coach, or someone who has already an experience in the field, I think this is the most efficient, effective, and fastest way for you to actually grasp a meaningful knowledge and meaningful skill set of the product manager. Why? Because these people have went through this process. They probably made some mistakes in the past. I did, and they can share with you this valuable experience, and they can basically funnel you through, let's say, the fastest way how you can accomplish the goals that you want to go. So don't hesitate to reach out to your friends with the product management experience. Go and talk with the product team in your organization if you're not a product manager yet. I think, as usual, these people are willing to share their knowledge. So this would be my advice.
Definitely, definitely. I totally agree with that approach. I think, yeah, sometimes we are just, just this one step between starting something and like excelling our career, or like empowering our career, is just to ask a question, ask someone, would you like to be my mentor? And that's all. Yeah. Most of the people will say, yeah, like, sure, I can do that. We can work together. And looking ahead, right now we look in the future. So what are you most excited about in the current year?
Sure. So I'll start with the private, but the professional has something as well. On the private life, you don't know that, but I'm passionate motorbiker. I love to ride motorbikes. And this year, with my girlfriend, we have plans to go through Austrian Alps and go sightsee, like travel through Croatia. So we would go through Austria, through the Alps, and then probably spend like 2 weeks in Croatia, staying every day in different place, because this is what the motorbikes gives you. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm already kind of preparing myself for that trip. So that's the that's the personal part of what I'm looking for and excited about this year. From the professional field, there is a lot of what is happening at Dolby, and especially within the Dolby Automotive. And we're running some of the very exciting innovations, let's put it this way. and I can't wait to make that reality. So obviously I can't talk about that, but I hope that in the next 2-3 years you will see that surfacing the cars, and we'll be able to maybe call for another episode, and I could tell you a bit more about that. But that's definitely exciting part. I enjoy working in automotive and in our technologies. And lastly, I'm very closely looking towards what AI will bring to the market. I mean, it's really a buzzword. There is a lot of hype. I don't know if you know the Gartner hype cycle, but AI is really on the top of it. So I'm really looking for what a real use cases, meaningful use cases will get into the industries, different industries, and how this will turn into an impactful solution, hopefully with a good for the people and humanity.
Yeah, I'm eager to see that too. Really, really interesting in that field, and it gives us a lot of new possibilities and new ways of working, I would say. But it's important to like also like embrace these new technologies, not be scared of them, but more like engage into using them and like looking for the ways of incorporating them into our daily life. Yeah. And for our listeners who would like to connect with you, where they can find you.
Well, I think the easiest would be if you reach out to me over through LinkedIn. I think that would be the simplest path. Just text me, and we can get connected. I do also publish regularly a newsletter with the product management traits. Um, um, we can figure it out how to promote that, or how to explain it to your audience after the episode. But yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm a pretty open person. I will respond, and maybe we can figure out working together.
Yeah, definitely. I can, if you send me the links, I can like add it to the description of the episode, and that's how our listeners can find you. And for today, I really wanted to thank you for our conversation, Remigiusz. It was a pleasure for me. I learned a lot, and really thank you for sharing your experience and sharing your knowledge with others.
Thank you, Berta. It was a pleasure to have a chat with you. It was fun discussing on the relevant topics. Yeah, and I hope that maybe in a couple of next episodes, maybe there will be another interesting topics that we could talk about. I'm happy to show up again.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you, Berta.
Thanks for joining me on another episode of Doing It My Way by Beata Matras. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe. Remember, this podcast is a dynamic journey and your feedback is very welcomed. Connect with me on social media. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And until next time, keep doing it your way.